Hello and welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you're new, I'm Corie. Welcome to my channel. If you are returning, thank you as always for being here. I appreciate you so much. I am excited. I'm going to show you how I made this and so much more. So let's go ahead and get right on into the crafting. DIY number one. All right, I have a Dollar Tree vase and a piece of parchment paper and a piece of scrap wood so that will let me pick it up and move it when I need to get it out of my way to let it dry. I have my alcohol inks again. I say again because I used them recently on a plate that a lot of you really enjoyed, and I was really happy that you liked it. So I figured I would do another project with the alcohol inks, cleaning up my vase with some rubbing alcohol, just making sure that it's nice and not fingerprinted or anything. And then I pulled out a bunch of colors that kind of spoke fall to me. Now, in the end, I'm not sure how fallish it looks, but I think it looked really cool. So I had a purple and a deeper green, a brown, a couple of shades of orange. And then I also was using a couple of metallic colors of alcohol inks. I used a gold and a copper. Now, a lot of you have been asking me about the alcohol inks, and I do not know what the name of this brand is. I can't even tell from looking at the box right here, but I do have it available in my Amazon store. And here, oops, there goes the vase. But yeah, fortunately, the alcohol ink dries really pretty quickly, and there was like no harm, no foul there. But I do have these available in my Amazon store, so if that's something you want to check out. I don't think they were all that expensive. It might have been, I don't want to quote what it might have been because I'm totally not remembering. I want to say like $20 for the box. I could be completely off, so don't quote me on that. But just using the alcohol inks all over the vase, and then I'm going to coat it 2 coats with the clear coat glaze, and this is how it turned out. I was debating whether or not to paint the inside. You could totally leave it like that. Ultimately, I decided I was going to paint it with plaster chalk paint. So the name of the color is plaster. This is, I think this one's a Waverly. Yes, Waverly chalk paint. But you could use any color of white or off-white for this. It really just helps the colors to pop. It gives them some substance. Or you could just leave it clear the way that it was originally. Let me know what you think. So I want to take just a minute to tell you about Flexi Spot, today's sponsor. Flexi Spot is a maker of desks. They are ergonomic standing desks and they are motorized. So I can go from sitting to standing at the touch of a button, literally, because it has a memory function. It can remember exactly where I was. So if I go ahead and press my sitting button, it goes right back to the position where I want to be for sitting and doing my work and editing my videos or whatever else I might be doing on my computer. And as soon as I decide it's time to stand again, I hit that memory button and it'll come right back up to the position where it's most comfortable for me. There's a lot of research that's been done on standing desks and the health benefits. It's so much better for you if you're able to stand or move throughout the day. And so I am really thrilled to have this for my daily use. The keypad is super easy to use with 3 different memory settings, a digital display that shows the height of the desk, manual up and down buttons, the memory key that is really easy to program, and it even has an alert that you can set to remind you when you've been sitting for too long. I have this available in my Amazon store. The link is in the description box, and they have it on sale for up to $100 off through September 12th. DIY number 2. All right, now I have some scrap foam core board that I have in my stash, and I am going to go ahead and draw with my Sharpie the outline of a little ghost figurine. This was inspired by something that I saw in a catalog recently. It might have been Grandin Rod. I forget what that catalog is called. I'm not sure, but it's something like that, or it might have been Town and Country. I'm not positive, but I saw it somewhere. I thought it was really cute, and I thought, you know what, I could probably make that out of foam core. This clearly is going to be an indoor decor item, whereas the one I saw, I think, was for outdoors and probably much heavier, but I'm going to get the same effect. So just drawing out my shape, I'm not too worried about all of the markings here because they will be on the inside of my project. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my X-OXO knife, yes, that, and I'm going to cut out the shape of my little ghost. And once I've got that completely cut, I'm going to be grabbing another piece of foam core board. So got my little ghost all cut out. So there he is. I'm going to grab another piece of foam core board and I'm going to cut out the same exact shape again. Now you could trace it and cut it, but I opted to just use the actual piece to cut around. I'm going to go ahead and get that sticker off of there. But the reason I decided to do it this way is that I want them to be exactly the same size. And sometimes when you trace and then you cut out, it's not exact and whatever else. So I just opted to do it this way. If you're more comfortable tracing it and then cutting it and then maybe just touching up any of the edges that you need to touch up, have at it. Whatever works for you is perfectly fine. This is just the way that I opted to do it. So once I had that done, I set it aside, and now I am getting some other pieces of foam core board and making strips. Now I'm scoring just through the top. I am not cutting all the way through. I am doing this at about 1/4 inch intervals so that I have a piece of foam core board that will flex and bend. And you can see I'm kind of popping the foam core in between some of these. And I'm going to sandwich this in between my two ghost shapes. Hopefully you're following what I'm saying here. So I'm going to use my hot glue. And I'm going to, and you know, clearly this isn't going to make it all the way around the ghost, and that's okay, because depending on which way the curve is going, you need to have the little slats on the outside or facing inward, depending, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. But on the curve where it's curving, I don't even know how to explain it. Inward? I don't know. Well, the curve is kind of bumped out, so the slats are going to be on the outside. Where it curves in, that's where we're going to need the slats on the inside. Hopefully that's making sense. You can see how I just turned that around so that it can follow the contour. And as I get to the end there, it's not going to want to curve around that little foot, for lack of a better term. So I'm going to be cutting that off where I see that the curvature changes. And then I'll flip that around and I'll have the slats or the scored edges going on the other side. Hopefully I'm making sense and you can see what I'm talking about here. I know it's kind of hard with the white to see where those lines are scored, but I'm going to be doing this all the way around, just using a little bit of hot glue. I had some kind of oozing out there, so I used a scrap piece just to clean that up, as opposed to my finger, because this is hot and I've been known to burn myself, as you all know. And of course I'm not wearing my finger protectors because that would be logical. But at any rate, I'm going to work my way all the way around, trimming off pieces as I go. So especially down at the foot area here, I'm going to go ahead and cut that off and just do every little foot or toe. I don't know what you would even call this on a ghost, but I'm going to go ahead and do each of those little bumps on its own, because it would alternatively be too difficult to try to make the corners, if that makes any sense at all. So just working my way around here. And then once I have all of this done, we'll be able to add on the top part of our ghost, right? But just gonna take my time, work this around, get it lined up, kind of smoosh it along, getting it lined up with the edges. So as I'm doing this, I want it to be all butting up together. I don't want anything overhanging. And if you do end up having anything overhang, you might want to just trim it off so it's all nice and smooth. If it's just a teeny tiny bit, you can see I've got a couple of little places at the top there where there's a little itsy bitsy bit of overhang. That's okay. But you just don't want to have big areas overhanging. You want it to be butted up to the edge as much as possible, and you'll see why in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and put on my lid now. So just a bead of hot glue all the way along the edge of the foam core. And then I'll go ahead and secure the other piece and create my little sandwich. And by doing this, our little ghost friend here is going to be able to stand up all by himself, which is, I'm just so happy with this. I think it's so cute. But see there, we've got our little ghost all put together, and he'll be able to stand up on his own, no problemo. Now I'm going to take this buffalo check ribbon, and y'all, I seriously just eyeballed this, and I'm amazed that it worked out as well as it did, because I probably should have measured it. I believe that's a 2.5-inch ribbon. I just happened to eyeball it and have it turn out right. But if you want to measure it, whatever ribbon you want to use, you'll want to just make sure that that is the width you're cutting your slats to. And actually, you want them a little bit short, a little bit, not quite that wide, right? Because you've got the two pieces of the foam core board, which is going to add probably a good 1/4 inch onto your sandwich, if you will. But at any rate, I am just running some hot glue along both edges and then securing the ribbon around. So this is going to edge our little ghost all the way around his little body. And I've got a little bit of ribbon overhanging, so this wasn't quite as perfect as it could have been. If you measure, you're probably going to have it, absolutely perfect. But for me, it turned out really well. All that I really had hanging over was the wire part of the ribbon, and I was okay with that. So at the end there, I had trimmed off the ribbon to the length that was going to fit, and then I folded under the edge. So I did cut it a little bit longer. I was keeping in mind that I was going to fold it, right? So just got that lined up. I am applying some more hot glue to tuck that in. And now we are done with his little body part and getting him all covered up on his edges. I think this is so cute. I love it. So now we're just going to be able to make a face for him. I pulled out my self-adhesive felt. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to draw with my Sharpie again, and you could use a pencil, whatever works. It doesn't have to be a Sharpie. It's just what I had at hand. But drawing a shape for his mouth and for his eyes. And then I'll go ahead and cut these out, and we'll go ahead and place them where we think we want them. You all have heard me say before, and I will say it again, I am visual. I don't like to commit until I know exactly how things are going to look. And so I got it all lined up. You can see me flipping the eyeballs around, making sure that they're where I want them. And then I'll go ahead and remove the backing and secure the little pieces down. So I've got his mouth down there, and then I'll go ahead and secure one eye at a time, just making sure that it's all lined up in the way that I want it. So if you haven't already subscribed, I hope that you'll consider doing that and join me again in the future. And please remember to give me a big thumbs up if you're enjoying the projects. But let me know what you think of the ghost. DIY number 3. All right, so this is Creative Fabrica, and I am really excited about all of the fonts and the graphics that they have on here. I actually have a deal for you. In my description box, you're going to be able to find a link to my landing page for Creative Fabrica, and there is an offer. You can have unlimited access to over 5 million fonts and designs for just $1 for the first month. And then it renews at a discounted rate of $19 a month, which is normally $29. So If that's of interest to you, go ahead and check it out in my description box. I am going to be using one of the designs here in the sublimation category, but you can see they've got all different kinds of fonts and graphics and craft ideas and classes and embroidery stuff. So needlework projects, anything you can imagine, it's on here. But this is the sublimation item that I'm going to use for this. I've got my Cricut press out. I set it to 385 degrees for 40 seconds. And this is the t-shirt I had on at the beginning when I said hello to you. We're going to get this prepped. Going to roll it out. This t-shirt is by Cricut. So it is good for infusible ink or sublimation, but there are a lot of different types of t-shirts and sublimation blanks out there that you can use. It doesn't necessarily have to be this particular brand. But I am putting some parchment paper in here. I've got 3 sheets in there because, again, I still have to get myself some butcher paper. But I'm lining up my image. Be sure if you're using words that you mirror your image. The first time I printed this out, I completely forgot that I needed to mirror it. So now I got to see what else I can do with the original one that I printed. But I went ahead and I set it on. I did check it and decided it needed a little bit more time. So I did end up doing this twice. So you might want to test it and see what you want to do with yours time-wise. But I think this turned out so super cute. I love this. But let me know what you think. And now it's time for a shout out timeout. Awesome, Robin. I was so excited to see Robin created this piece that I did in one of my recent videos. And cute Kathy, lots of fall and leading into Christmas. Love it. I would love to give you a shout out as well. If you have interest, just send me an email at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 4. Okay, I'm back to my Creative Fabrica again, another sublimation piece. And these I have printed on my Hippo sublimation paper. And that is also available in my Amazon store if that's of interest to you. But I took a piece of scrap MDF. I also have this Varathane, it's not polyacrylic, it's polyurethane. Now, I think that might be where I went wrong. So I showed you my spray paint. I painted my board with this heirloom white color. And now I'm going over it with the polyurethane. Now, this is water-based. And the gentleman at the Home Depot said to my husband Rich that this would be the same thing as the polyacrylic that is apparently only available at Lowe's. It's a Minwax product, and that's what I've actually seen other people do this with. So I don't know if it's because I'm using the polyurethane instead of the polyacrylic, even though it's water-based, but I did a coat, let it dry, sanding it per the instructions I've seen, and now I'm going to go ahead and try to apply my sublimation blank. So I'm going to go ahead and put some parchment paper over top, and then I'm going to use my Cricut Easy Press again. This time, I believe it is still set at 385, but we're doing it for 60 seconds. So I've got this done, and I pulled it up, and I'm thinking, you know what? I can see it looked like condensation along the sides, and then my paper was sticking. Now, I didn't worry just yet because I had seen other people have the sticky situation, but then when I started pulling it up, it started pulling away my design and some of the paint. So I don't know if I had it too hot. I don't know if I didn't let the polyurethane cure long enough. It said it just needed a couple of hours, and I let it cure for at least that long. Maybe if I'd done it overnight, I'm not sure, but I went ahead and sprayed it down with water. And I grabbed a paper towel. Well, first I used my fingers to kind of rub away the paper. And a lot of it just came away, and it was really, really perfect. It was just that bottom left side and a little bit more on the left there that really had an issue. But now you can see me kind of rubbing it away with the paper towel. I am definitely going to be trying this again. I'm going to try it with the polyacrylic and see if that makes a difference. I am also going to try it with laminating the wood first, because I've seen that that is also something that you can do with sublimation when working with wood. But I still think this is really super cute. So it is a quasi fail because I could never sell this. It's not something I would ever gift to anyone. I'll probably end up sanding it down and doing something else with it eventually. But I still thought that the image was super cute. Again, this was from Creative Fabrica. Link is in my description box if you want to check them out. It was done on the Hippo paper, which I absolutely love. You can find information on their products in my Amazon store, again, if that's of interest to you. But yeah, I still think this is super cute. I just wish that I didn't mess it up the way that I did. So if you have any thoughts on polyurethane, water-based polyurethane versus polyacrylic, I'd love to hear your comments in the comment boxes. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the project, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment. It really does help my channel to grow. And until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye.